There has been no steady pattern of growth of healing over the centuries. Civilizations have come and gone, and with them healing has prospered and declined. But the ability to use some faculty of healing has always remained with a residue of people. Primitive man has always had the vegetable kingdom to draw upon, apart from any potential psychic ability. What really interests us, however, is the development of our centers and the attunement of a higher level of consciousness to facilitate the better transmission of healing energies. We have a long way to go to reach a Christ consciousness. If we are seriously ill, we would rather go to hospital than be treated by a healer. The kind of healer who can help if one has peritonitis, for example, is a healer not readily available. And so, it is better to be whipped off to have the appendix out than to rely upon spiritual treatment. What has happened to the growth of healing? Did not Jesus say that greater things than he did would be done? Modern medicine, with its surgery and reliance on manufactured drugs, demonstrates the great deterioration of other ways of healing. At one time, the priest, the healer, and the doctor were combined in one individual. The popularity of such a rare and beautiful person was enormous, and his growth was brought about through many years of complete dedication, often in the ideal conditions of a temple setting. Nowadays we manifest just one potential in various lives, learning how to incorporate it in day-to-day existence, often in difficult conditions. If you are a healer now, the qualities that you manifest may also be priest-like, and because you may also have been a doctor as well, you may have instinctive qualities that you apply to your patients. By re-establishing all three modes of function, one can, when once again on earth level, manifest to the best advantage. When we look at the consciousness of higher individuals, we can see that this skill comes easily. In the future, by utilizing the third eye, we ourselves shall be able to use abilities that we have acquired in past lives. If we tune into a time when the earth was more primitive and man was evolving, and here I do not want to go into the various aspects as to how he began on the earth level and developed civilizations to colonize it. It is obvious that there have been a variety of growth patterns, but I want to deal only with the healing potential and the growth of the healer himself. There was a time when man was emerging into a consciousness that, on some level perhaps we could say, linked with ours, but he was more psychic. And so we find in primitive communities that the women who were more intuitive were often the ones who healed and prescribed herbs and looked after the tribe. This was also the case in the civilizations before Lemuria and Atlantis. There the wise women were usually in charge and so played a very important role. The soul was manifesting in its female aspect, and for a time this tendency was quite prevalent. But when, incarnating as male, the soul was able to develop the intuitive female aspect as well, it could manifest in either body as it chose. The Atlanteans were much more aware that a soul on the highest level was both male and female, and therefore there was no discrimination of the sexes. Very often in the early days of Atlantis, male and female stood side by side, there being little difference in their type of consciousness. They utilized their gifts in exactly the same way. We find the same conditions in very early Egyptian times. But when the male side started to become predominant in the community, changes took place.